That's fine! Your hunk bunk bar didn't have enough bump or hump! Where's my mustache? Thank you. Hey, what's this? Alien Hominid, baby. This bad boy was first released as a flash game all the way back in 2002 on Newgrounds. It only had a single level, but there were a multitude of ways to kill your enemies, while the alien himself only went down with a single shot. The game was played millions of times within a short time period, and its success eventually led to the formation of the behemoth company known as the Behemoth. The run and gun style of the game is fast-paced and influenced heavily by Metal Slug. Since you respawn quickly, you don't usually dwell on each death. You just jump right back in and wreak havoc, sometimes die as quickly as you come back, and then wreak more havoc. You get a good number of lives and continues, and racking up points give you extra lives to keep running and gunning. And don't let the funny cartoony sprites fool you. The game can be really cheap with its difficulty at times. This is mostly due to the fact that the enemies you gun down respawn as quickly as you do, and you can die simply from poor positioning that can't be helped, or even just moving the stage along. The console game itself was released in 2004, and was the stepping stone for many great classics like Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater. Alien Hominid was eventually ported with HD graphics onto the Xbox 360, PS3, and even had a Game Boy Advance release. The HD ports had some balance changes and some subtractions, along with one big removal that I'll get back into later. For now, let's load this baby up. I'll be playing the PS2 version if you don't mind. You want HD graphics? But I bought the PS2 version. I even got this whole setup to capture. Okay, we're doing the PS2 version. You get a tutorial of the alien's versatile skill set. Shoot, charge up your shoot, dodge roll, slice enemies like ham, jump on their heads, eat their heads like ham, toss their bodies at others, and even bury underground to pull them into a morbid death. You can also dig underground to collect flowers for a 1-up, but they don't pop up too often, sadly. I think they only come up once per chapter, and there's only 3 chapters, so it's a very short game. Cool, I can beat this game while I wait for my ship to arrive. First off, the UI for Alien Hominid is cool since the menu is basically the alien's PDA. There are some cool options like setting difficulty for each player and changing your name. Not enough characters for my name. Perfect! You can also turn off the blood and gore, so the enemies bleed flowers instead. Apparently this was done in response to Australia's rating system. Neat. You can also put on hats you've earned. You start off with a couple and unlock more as you play. So, let's play! We're introduced with a cutscene of our titular alien hominid flying a bit too close to Earth. An FBI agent finally wakes up to do his job and shoots him down. Just look at the adorable expression on Hominid's face. He's like a little trash baby. Anyways, he comes careening towards the city and crashes in front of Fat Kid. No, really, that's his name. And Fat Kid decides to seek revenge for his stolen ice cream and offer us power-ups as we shoot across the stage. Chapter 1 has us rampage across the city. The FBI rolls in with bullet-resistant trucks, and we get a couple of cool matchups against helicopters, and there's one dude with a flamethrower and pyro jetpack. He also takes a lot more bullets to kill. If you're quick enough, you can grab him from under the ground, but you also blow up with him. I also love the names they have for most of the buildings here. Most of them are taken from the Flash version, but we get some new establishments that we can destroy in exchange for goodies and hats. As you play, you'll occasionally hear an air horn like this. That means you just did something that unlocked a new hat for you to wear. Sometimes this can be simply destroying a specific building or taking out a boss in a very specific way. And this was before the concept of achievements too, so this game was kinda ahead of its time. The first sub-boss might be recognized by some from the Flash game. He just runs towards you haphazardly and shoots a laser, so use the roof as necessary to dodge. Make your way to the pier and you'll come across the first end stage boss. He's got beefy arms ready to pulverize you if you're not quick enough to jump. But if you do enough damage, he will jump up incredibly high and try to take you out with an earth-shattering slam. This can be avoided with a well-timed jump. Listen, as long as I get to have my burgers and fries after this matchup, I'm good. What you say? Now it's personal. 1-2 is easily my most hated stage of the entire game, and yes, I mean this right away. The concept is simple. Hop across cars to take out the agents, and you can even hijack the cars for cover. While it might seem like a no-brainer to just keep hopping into cars, you also have to keep into account the helicopters that drop missiles to take it out. And when you hop out of a car with no driver, it sometimes skids backwards and takes out the car behind it, leaving you with no platform to jump on. You can avoid death with the road a couple of times with a well-timed jump, but miss the timing or touch the road too many times, and you're roadkill. Ah! The boss itself isn't too hard, only because you don't have to worry about the random agents coming in to ruin your day. Just keep charging up your chute and jump across the cars carefully, and be sure to take cover in a car before it can scrape you off the windshield. The third stage starts us off on the rooftops. There's an abundant amount of tanks to clear out in the stage. They're not so bad, but be careful. If you try to take one out from above, an agent will pop out and try to shoot you down. Keep on moving and you'll meet this cool dude that shoots ice cube at us. As you progress, you can commandeer a forklift and take out important historical effigies before having a showdown with two tanks at the opposite sides of the screen. Once you take them out, they bring down the nuclear? How do you pronounce this?
It's pronounced nuclear.
Nuclear plants and bring birth to a unique boss, Butterscotch. He's a bit different in that you're not attacking him directly, but rather the fire hydrant that can dilute him back into mush. He only has 2 attacks, but they can be tricky to dodge. One is that he lobs parts of himself straight up into the air, and they drop back down above you to form hands. If you get hit on the way down, then but they can also grab you if you get too close and slam your head against the pavement. For his other attack, you get only half a second to see his face change before he vomits at you with frightening precision. You simply need to jump to move out of the way. And it sounds easy to dodge, but half the time you're either looking up preparing to dodge the lobs, or focus on the other agent that's constantly on screen, making sure its AI doesn't make him smart enough to shoot past the fire hydrant, since it usually blocks his shots. Anyways, get him wet enough.
Oh my.
Shut up. And he'll melt back into pudding. Next up, we see a couple of agents bullying this poor kid, and we get to start off with a tank. Do the math. This level is pretty much more of the same. Just dash through to reach the park, face the sub-boss who is a robot that can run out of breath for some reason. What has science done? Be careful not to get caught because he will give you a pounding.
Oh my.
I said shut up! And the end stage boss is a blast from the past. He's the final encounter from the Flash game. Except now, he's kinda really easy to take out. Thanks to the charge shot, that is. No, seriously, look, I didn't even need to move from my spot. I just kept jumping up and down shooting charge shots at him. All he does is move in closer and pulls back out sometimes, and that's about it. But my first playthrough didn't go so smoothly. I tried a bit too hard, and when you die when he's too close, he can potentially punch you as you spawn, and since your invulnerability period is literally half a second, you can end up dying right when you hit the ground. The HD version actually fixes this by having the fist go right through you.
Oh my.
I didn't mean it like that. As soon as he dies, the stage moves on, and you can see the FBI agents hauling pieces of your ship away. Take out the one helicopter that's struggling and recommandeer your ship. As soon as you do, a new sub-boss comes in, lobbing mortar strikes at you. It's less of a boss and more of a puzzle. Just use your tractor beam to grab the projectiles and let them drop right back down onto the vehicle. Also, drop some agents in the chipper, for good luck. Final stage. You can see an arrow pinpointing where to go, and you see that the Fed kids are helping you out by dismantling the helicopter hauling off your basic weaponry. From here, it's as easy as going to chopper to chopper, reassembling your spaceship and taking out the FBI goons until the bosses show up. I also love the music that plays here on the PS2 version. For some reason it was swapped out for a generic tune on a HD release, so enjoy the background track while you can. Here's a couple of sub-bosses, but they're nothing too special. In fact, the second boss was kind of a pushover since it was overpowered by simply moving to the side. As soon as you take out the big boss, you see that the Russians are up to no good. They're using advanced state-of-the-art software to launch a missile at us, and... oh, damn it, we just got the ship back. Chapter 2. We start off by meeting our current antagonist, Boris, the commander of the KGB. We're in Russia now, so make your way across the snowy plains, taking out the KGB agents. Man, I really hope my channel doesn't get flagged for this video. The first sub-boss is a frog bot that launches smaller frog bots that explode upon impact. They can be taken out with a single charge shot each. Just be careful because as soon as one goes out, the other gains a speed boost. Also time your jump because as soon as both are destroyed, the frog bot hops back down and can kill you if you're still on land upon impact. Keep dodge rolling across the snow past the grenade launchers and sandbags and you'll eventually meet Boris, launching a robotic red menace at you. Keep your eye on both the boss and the random KGB agent frolicking about, because if you stay still, it will most likely give you the old hammer and sickle.
Duh.
Stage 2 in Russia is Missile Madness. You start off dodging a barrage of missiles right away. As you progress through the stage, you can eventually operate the same vehicle that was shooting at you from the start. If you're good at navigating between the missile strikes, then you should have an easier time with the sub-boss, since you can just spam missiles out of it before both machines blow up. For some reason, you also have to take out these red missiles buried in the snow to progress, but keep moving on, and you'll get an abominable buddy that you can set free. He'll let you hop on and take control. You can punch out the watchtowers, and even eat the agents. I hear they're high in protein.
Duh.
The ride doesn't last long though, and you gotta avoid the large metal teddy bears before facing the next boss. I also want to point out that Hominid pointing at the boss is a rather unique pose. He doesn't usually emote at other bosses' introductions. This boss actually has multiple phases. When you do a set amount of damage, the teddy bears from earlier come back stomping across the ground, and you have to take them out. But there's a catch. Each bear is revealed to be a stacking doll, and they get smaller and smaller, zooming across the screen like a lethal DVD logo that can take you out on contact. Also, I experienced a glitch where one bodied me so hard in the corner, I spawned beneath the stage and I couldn't do anything. Hit me! Who said that? The third stage is a bit boring. You have an obstacle course of turrets to dodge, and sometimes just standing funny on a turret is enough for death. Dodge past them and face a weird tea kettle boss that's also an accordion and a stomper. The stage isn't over yet. More turrets and watchtowers impede your progress, and now Boris is lobbing explosive barrels at you himself, trying to stop you. He even goes so far as to use his own lackey. Finally, at the end, Boris uses a remote-controlled boss. I do like this robot boss though. All it does is shoot, roll, and charge up a laser all the way, but it's like it's charging up a massive Kamehameha. You can dig to avoid this screen-flashing attack, or shoot a charged projectile to knock him out of the animation. The fourth stage is a ski sled level. You gotta jump over or duck beneath obstructions until you reach the train. You can shoot ahead to blow up their supplies, turrets, or even random agents that show up to shoot at you. The sub-boss is simply a crane that lobs rocks at you, and once you take it out, you just do more of the same until the bridge comes up. Hominid hops from the sleigh to the train itself, and this is where issues start again. Remember how I mentioned in 1-2 agents were randomly spawning in too quickly, shooting almost as soon as they come into existence? If you go on too far ahead, you will birth more Russian resistance, and sometimes you can just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, causing many unfair deaths. I mean, even their spawns were glitching out too. Sometimes they'd phase into objects, only to despawn and apparate with a bullet with your name on it right away. The end stage boss is yet another crane, but this time it's grabbing at you. You have to time your jumps with precision right as it snaps its jaws. Otherwise... 2-5. You see Boris leaving a breadcrumb trail as Alien Hominid follows it. At first, I thought Boris was leading Alien towards a trap, at least until the burly birds came fluttering down. Also, I love how killing the birds turns them into instantly roasted fowl.
Duh.
Dodge the conveyors and saw blades and you'll reach the launch site. This next section plays like an old school Donkey Kong level, except with an orbital laser firing at your precision every few seconds. Be careful. I kept making the mistake thinking the platforms that the agents stood on were solid, but they're really not. Finally, you'll reach Boris, who uses your own ship against you. Honestly, it's kind of an easy fight. Dodge roll to get close, shoot charge shots, be prepared to jump when he does the saw blade technique. Oh, and keep an eye on the orbital laser that's still firing at you. Once you take out the boss, Boris parachutes to... Oh no. Oh no! Hey man, who is that you're eating? 2-6. Russia has an extra level for some reason. You're thrusting upwards.
Oh my.
Shut up! We almost made it through an entire chapter without innuendos. I swear to dog, I'm going to keep moving towards the orbital laser now, avoiding space debris. This satellite is incredibly easy to take out once you reach it. You can literally just float inside and keep shooting. Once that's done, just keep destroying asteroids and enemies. The only issue I have with this stage, simply moving out of harm's way is a risk. These asteroids can take out a huge chunk of your HP. And of course they break into smaller pieces when you shoot at them. It's hard not to lose any lives here simply because you don't get too many movement options. All the debris and enemies keep respawning faster than you can react. The next boss appears and again it's a pushover. It's a hydraulic press in space, and it will squish you into a tin can if you get into the sensor. You can employ the same strategy and just float inside of them, but again a random asteroid might float towards you, And since all of your bullets are being consumed by the boss, you can't do anything except accidentally move into more harm's way or become a cosmic tin can. As soon as you defeat the boss, a giant robot whale pulls a monstro and takes you in a single gulp. Thankfully, our alien friend manages to escape due to a fluke, and we're in the desert now. Here, we have to fend off giant birds, scorpions, and the occasional twister. Actually, if you play through Castle Crashers, then you might remember this exact scenario taking place. In that game, there's a stage where you take out aliens that look exactly like Hominid, and then the ship comes crashing down and you have to fight against the same things in the desert. But back to our run and gun game, just keep on moving to take out this cool antlion dude, and you'll eventually move across to another alien wanting to make peace. And trust me, I did everything I could to see if you could actually make peace with this little dude. But no, you have to shoot him to keep the game moving. The ship has some basic attacks. Just jump to the opposite end to avoid the gunfire, and keep your eyes on its fire thruster. The little alien dude will shoot back too when you whittle its HP down enough, but that's pretty much it. 3-2. Hey dude, what are you doing? Oh no, don't dig here. The agents are back and their AI has been upgraded. It won't be long before you come across a unique sub-boss, which is just basically 2 electrical cubes. Fire at the flashing lights to take down its HP. But if you leave them alone for too long, they shoot out a beam of electricity. But if you leave the purple, blue, red? I don't know this color, I'm colorblind. Really? But if you leave the lavender rose lights on for too long, then every bulb will shoot out electricity. This fight is incredibly annoying and I wish they kind of scrapped it, because I doubt anybody can leave this section without any deaths, especially since the agents are in the way still and they're shooting at you rapidly. Move on and oh look, a flower. Son of a, move on and you'll face a large robot tank. And again, death is almost inescapable. If you jump on it, it will deploy grenades. If you're off of it, it might scorch the desert. Somehow you also have to dodge bullets while taking out specific segments of the robot. It is a fun matchup, just a lot of stuff to keep in mind, and you'll probably end up dying because you'll forget about the several hazards it has to keep you in check. After blowing up this boss, you're blocked out of the army by a large gate. Just shoot through it while dodging bullets, and you can break into Area 51. Man, I seriously hope my channel doesn't get flagged. I mean, all this talk. 3-3. We're at the home stretch now. Area 51 has a lot of things contained inside, like these little dog-like creatures that are released upon you. They have quite a bit of HP, but thankfully they recoil back when you shoot at them. Try to always jump over them. If you shoot down, then hope that you can kill them before you touch their jaws. As I mentioned, the agents have an upgraded AI since the last chapter. They shoot much more frequently in various angles, so something as simple as this dumb computer standing in your way can be a lethal roadblock, since you have to keep those agents in check as well. You face a giant bipedal robot with a slow firing rate, and again the difficult part is keeping the agents on screen in check while you take it out.
And oh, Simon Says time. Haha, take your time. Take notes if you need to. Watch carefully. Be patient. No, don't wake the cat up. Just wipe the cocky grin off the computer's face and pick correctly up to 7 times in a row. If you guess wrong, it's back to square one.
Alright, now that that's taken care of, keep moving for more of the same. You can hijack one of those bipedal robots and, oh man, look at Hominid's expression. Tell me this doesn't look adorable. I mean, look at him, he's just so freaking cute. Anyways, just steamroll through more bipedal robots, and oh, I experienced another glitch here. This dude's invincible for some reason, but can keep killing me. That's fair. Anyways, the boss is another beefier tank from the last chapter, so you have to keep a lot of the same stuff into account. If you jump on him, it'll deploy grenades, get grabbed, and you have to shoot at its face to break free, while also ducking to avoid the flames. Defeat it section by section, until all that's left to destroy is its panicking face, while all it can do is fist you from both directions. I know you want to say it. I'm waiting for you to say it. Alright, 3-4 is one of my absolutely favorite levels, and it's also the last side-scrolling stage of the game. It's got a lot going for it. Be sure to dodge roll off the hydraulic presses as soon as you can because the window to avoid turning into an alien patty is very small. After the hazards, you can free these creature cages that'll help you out by taking out the agents in the most gruesome fashion, eating them alive. There are other cages to unlock, but they're just robots that seem threatening but don't actually have a lot of HP. Honestly, agents not being mauled alive are the bigger threat since they can so shoot at you. And with a lot of things happening on the screen at once, it can be hard to know when to dodge. Be careful as you progress too. Eventually these grinning bombs will run towards you. They can be taken out with a single charge shot, but if you try to jump over them, they might jump right into you and take your life. So you're probably wondering why this is one of my most favorite levels. And upon retrospect, I think I know the reason why. This game starts off strong with the urban levels, starts to get a bit boring with the Russian landscapes and the overuse of boss phases, and the beginning of the Dirt chapter uses gimmicky sub-bosses. The Simon Says and the whole color bulb bosses may have been a change of pace, but sometimes different doesn't always equal better. Here, you're doing what the genre defines, running and gunning. The defining trait of this type of game like in Metal Slug or old school Contra. Plus, the background landscape of the game also seems to match the pacing of the action. It starts out really funny with the urban levels, but then you get to Russia and there really isn't much to look at besides buildings. And then when you reach the Dirt chapter, it's just desert and hallways. But at this penultimate level, you can see that they started getting more creative with the background again. What's with this creepy clown? Ooh, calamari. And, oh, no, buddy. Don't worry, I'll give him a pounding.
Oh my.
I told you! As for the penultimate boss, you meet up with the familiar eyeball, the end stage boss of 1-1. He scurries off in surprise, and surprise indeed because it's got a big old body now who's hungry.
Hungry for justice.
And this is one of the most fair fights I've had in a while too. It might catch you off guard with its first arm slam attack, but then you can use its hands as platforms to get a good shot at the eyeball, since it has a protective plating to block attacks from underneath. Those grinning bombs come in between attacks too, but by now you should know how to carefully maneuver around them. And finally, its bullet spread attack is actually easy to dodge, and gives you a window to actually fire at the eyeball. Once its HP is down to 0, the eyeball jumps free from its exploding body and begins to cry. Aw, come here buddy. Oh yeah, you get a 1-up for this too. Bonus trivia. The eyeball is also a pet for Castle Crashers, where it can fire random bullets at enemies to help you rack up damage, which we see it doing in the next level. 5-5, the final stage. You and the eyeball are coming in, and the agents are literally doing nothing to stop you now. Nobody stops to fire at you. You can mow them down to get power-ups too. And if you want to, go ahead, because a little further up is the final boss. It's you, but bigger, stronger, and beefier. Stronger Hominid has the same skill set too. He dodge rolls, fires upgraded projectiles, and can lob grenades. Don't get too close because he will slice you like alien ham. He will also occasionally try to jump on your head, so basically never stop moving. He's also a bit unpredictable too, so try not to get screwed by poor positioning.
Oh.
Shut up! Once you get his HP to 0, he starts attacking from his own ship. And funny enough, I think this phase is easier because his attacks are a bit more telegraphed and predictable. He will eventually destroy the platforms with grenades, and its final phase is just shooting bullets. These are a bit trickier to dodge, so focus on getting a set rhythm going. I like to dodge roll between the bullets and get a charge shot out whenever I can. Once this phase is done, he tractor beams you onto the ship itself and starts the final battle on top of the flaming and flying wreckage. Stronger Hominid fights you again like the first phase, but now he can make the ship wobble and bring you closer to him to get a shot in. And again, don't get too close. 2 helicopters fly in to watch the scene, but don't worry too much about them because they're only there to watch the show. As you whittle his HP down, Stronger Hominid will lob grenades at them, shortening the final battlefield and making it near impossible not to come too close to be sliced in half. But just keep racking up the damage and eventually you'll take out your bigger, beefier foe.
It's the final cutscene. Hominid is tired, exhausted. He just wanted to head home. Who knows where his ship is? Just when he can breathe, another government vehicle pulls up. In the distance, the agents home into his final location and reveal the 3 fat kids loading Hominid into his ship. With a final salute and a surprise visit from his eyeball buddy, you two launch off into space. The fat kids drive off with a look of melancholy across their faces, but then a beam of light shoots down across them and they get tractored up to the ship.
And that's Alien Hominid. Well, the main course, that is. There's still a lot of side goodies to go through. For example, you two can simulate the state-of-art technology that the KGB use to launch missiles. And also there are a bunch of 2-player modes that you can do as a time waster, but seriously, they're kinda meh. The Pinata game lags incredibly bad on the PS2, and I didn't really have anybody willing to play with me, so I'm all alone. There's no one here besides me.
I'm beside you.
What? Who said that? But anyways, not all the minigames are like this. The best one is actually a fully fleshed out platformer. The PDA levels. Yeah, this game may remind Behemoth fans of their 3rd game, Battle Block Theater, because, well, the PDA levels is essentially its prototype. You can jump on enemy heads, collect pickups for points to rack up for lives, and push boulders onto others. You can even drop ships into water and travel to safety, and all you have to do is kill everybody on screen to reach the exit. It is really simple, but it is so much fun. And the acoustic guitar playing is really catchy and doesn't really get annoying despite being only a little over a minute long. There's a small variety of hazards in here, but the levels that come built in have such variety and creative usage that you look forward to see what cool stuff you can make in the editor. And yes, I said editor, because you can make your own stages on the GameCube and PS2 versions. Sadly, the HD remake removes this feature entirely, and the only way you can play more PDA levels is through paid DLC. I mean, it's cheap DLC, but I don't understand why they removed the editor. It was so much fun. Also, I love the handy little detail of the thumb blocking a bit of the screen that only moves out of the way when you step in that region. It can be used to hide cool secrets or cheap deaths. There are some interesting features on the Xbox and PS3 version too, like the leaderboards, and even more minigames that weren't really that much fun. But if you want to keep running and gunning, you can try hard mode, which removes barriers when you receive power-ups. And if you want to ask me which part to play through, well, it's gonna be kind of a juggle. If you don't really care about the PDA levels, then I'd recommend the HD ports. But the PS2 and GameCube version is definitely a bigger and better package in my opinion. The only thing to keep in mind is that the HD port has some minor balance changes, like it's faster to take out certain bosses, and you also get more grenades whenever you get power-ups. Man, how long have I been playing this for? Ow, hey!
Time for you to go home, man. It's getting early.
I know, I'm waiting for my ship to arrive.
Here, I'll
hold
help you
on.
get on your ship.
Wait, what's going on?
Where am I?
Wait, where are you?